You go to a party, and the whole time a small voice in the back of your head is quietly counting down the minutes until you can leave. Not because you hate people, not because anything is wrong with you, but because somewhere deep inside, being around a lot of people just costs you something. And when you finally get home, close the door, and sit in the quiet, you don't feel lonely. You feel relief. If that sounds familiar, stay with me. The word introversion gets misused constantly. People hear it and they think shy, antisocial, broken, difficult. But psychology tells a very different story. Introversion is not a flaw in your personality. It is not something that needs to be fixed, medicated, or trained out of you. It's time to go inward. That signal is not weakness. That signal is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. So today we're going to look at 7 signs that point to true introversion, so you can finally see yourself clearly.
Sign number 1. Social interactions drain you, even when you enjoy them. This is the one that confuses most people, even introverts themselves. You can genuinely laugh, connect, and have a wonderful time with other people. And then, the next day, you feel completely empty, like your internal battery has been drained to zero. This happens because the introverted nervous system expends significantly more cognitive energy during social interaction. You are not just talking, you are processing. You're reading faces, interpreting tone, monitoring your own responses, and filtering information. It's the equivalent of running a background program that never shuts off. That exhaustion you feel afterward, that's not a character flaw. That is the cost of deep processing. Sign number 2. You think before you speak, sometimes for a long time. In group conversations, you often find yourself listening, forming a thought, and then watching the moment pass before you ever say it out loud. And then someone else says something close to what you were thinking, and you feel a quiet frustration. Not at them, at the gap between your inner world and the speed of the room. Here's why this happens. Introverted brains use a longer neural pathway for processing language and thought. They route information through areas associated with memory, self-reflection, and planning before it reaches speech. Extroverted brains take a shorter, faster route. Neither is better. They are simply different architectures. Your slower processing is not hesitation, it is depth. Sign number 3. You have a rich, detailed inner world. If you've ever been told you're in your head too much, this one is for you. Introverts tend to have an extraordinarily active inner life. Constant internal dialogue, vivid imagination, a tendency to replay past conversations, visualize future scenarios, and process emotions through thought rather than expression. Psychologists describe this as a preference for internal stimulation. The outer world is loud, unpredictable, and often overwhelming. But the inner world, you can control it, you can curate it. You can make it safe. For many introverts, especially those who grew up in chaotic or emotionally unpredictable environments, the inner world wasn't just a preference, it was a refuge. Your mind became the one place where no one could barge in uninvited. Sign number 4. You deeply value and protect your alone time. This isn't about being a hermit. This isn't about not loving the people in your life. It's about knowing, instinctively, that without adequate solitude, you start to lose yourself. You become irritable, foggy, disconnected. Because for an introvert, alone time is not indulgence, it is maintenance. It is the period during which your nervous system finally gets to process everything it absorbed during the day. The conversations, the decisions, the sensory input, the emotional undercurrents of every room you walked through. When you protect your solitude, you are not being selfish. You are being responsible, with the one resource that makes you capable of showing up for everyone else. Sign number 5. Small talk feels almost physically uncomfortable. You can talk for hours about things that matter to you: philosophy, psychology, art, the strange machinery of other people's minds. But so, what do? At a work function, something in you quietly dies. This is because the introverted brain is reward sensitive to meaning. Shallow conversation does not trigger the same neurological engagement that deep, substantive exchange does. It's not that you're being snobby, it's that your brain is genuinely waiting for the conversation to become worth the energy it costs to have it. Small talk feels like buffering. Sign number 6. You are intensely observant. You notice things. The slight change in someone's tone that suggests they're actually not okay despite what they said. The tension in a room that everyone else seems to walk through without sensing. The detail in the corner of a painting that no one else paused at. Introversion is strongly correlated with heightened sensory awareness and social observation. Because you spend less time talking, you spend more time watching. You have, over years, developed an almost involuntary habit of reading environments, reading people, reading subtext. This can feel like a burden sometimes, like you absorb more of the emotional data in every room. But it is also the source of your empathy, your creativity, your ability to understand people at a level that leaves them feeling genuinely seen. Sign number 7. You prefer depth over breadth. In everything, fewer close friends rather than a wide social circle. One absorbing interest rather than a scattered collection of hobbies. One meaningful conversation rather than 10 forgettable ones. This isn't pickiness. This is a consistent, neurologically grounded preference for quality over quantity. Introverts invest deeply. They form bonds slowly and carefully, but once formed, those bonds tend to be remarkably loyal and durable. If you've ever wondered why you feel emotionally exhausted by relationships that don't go below the surface, it is because surface is not where you were built to live. So let's talk about what all of this actually means about who you are. You are not antisocial, you are selective, and selectivity is not a flaw, it is a form of self-respect. You are not broken because parties exhaust you. You are operating exactly as your nervous system was designed to operate, taking everything in, processing it deeply, and needing space to integrate it. You are not cold because you prefer fewer, deeper relationships. You are loyal, intentional, the kind of person that others feel safe around when they need to say something true. You are not weird because your inner world is richer than your outer expression. You are deep, and depth in a world that constantly celebrates noise is rare. Here's the reframe I want to leave you with. In a world addicted to constant stimulation, constant performance, constant output, your introversion is not a malfunction. It is a form of resistance. A quiet, steady insistence that not everything valuable needs to be loud. That some of the most important processing in a human life happens in the spaces between the words. You were never too much, and you were never too little. You were simply wired differently, and now you know why.